lesson today, we are continuing our work with Topic 10. Today's lesson, Topic 10, Lesson 2, is about mental math. 10 more than a number. Our learning intention for today is I can use mental math to add tens to two-digit numbers. Let's go ahead and get started. Our solve and share begins on page 405. Our solve and share says solve each problem. What pattern do you see in the totals? Let's begin with solving our first problem, 15 plus 10. If you have your number chart with you, it will be very helpful during this time. When looking at a number chart, if you are looking in the column, as you move down it, your numbers are increasing by 10. As you move up your column, your numbers are decreasing by 10. For example, if I'm looking at my numbers chart and I look at the tens column, I see 10, 20, 30, 40. As I move down the column, it's increasing by 10. If I move up, 40, 30, 20, 10, the columns are now decreasing by 10. So if I go to 15 and I want to add 10 more, I just move one spot down my chart. 15 plus 10 is 25. Now I have to solve 25 plus 10. I can do the same thing. I can look at 25 on my chart and move down the column. 25 plus 10 is 35. And for my last problem, 55 plus 10, I can look at 55, move down the column, and I know my answer will be 65. Do you see a pattern in our totals? 25, 35, 65? One pattern I noticed is that the ones place is the same for all three numbers. It stayed the same even though we were adding 10 each time. Another pattern is that we went from 15 to 25, 25 to 35, and 55 to 65. Each time we added 10, our tens digit increased by 1 each time. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 5 to 6. Let's look at another way to solve on our next page. Now let's watch our animated video to help us follow along the top of our workbook page 406.
Look at the place value blocks that show 23. You have used place value blocks to add 10. You can also use mental math to add 10. Find 23 plus 10. How can you add 10 mentally? When adding 10, you should look at the tens digit. What is the tens digit in the number 23?
Select your answer.
So let's look at the number 23. We have a 3 in the ones place and a 2 in the tens place. So what is the tens digit in the number 23? 2.
The tens digit in the number 23 is 2. What is the tens digit in the number 10? The tens digit in the number 10 is 1. What basic fact do you know that can help you add 23 and 10? You know 2 plus 1 equals 3, so 23 plus 10 equals 33.
Let's try it. Select a sum to see how you can use mental math. Let's pick 33 plus 10.
You know 3 plus 1 equals 4. So, 33 plus 10 equals 43.
Let's do 43 plus 10.
You know 4 plus 1 equals 5. So, 43 plus 10 equals 53.
And one more. 53 plus 10.
You know 5 plus 1 equals 6. So, 53 plus 10 equals 63.
Use mental math to add.
Think about the numbers in the tens digits and the ones digits.
33 plus 10 equals 43. 43 plus 10 equals 53. And 53 plus 10 equals 63. As the first addends increase by 1/10 each time, how do the sums change? Which digit changes in each sum? The sums increase by 10 each time. The tens digit changes in each sum. Now you know how to use mental math to find 10 more than a number.
For our guided practice on page 406, we are going to use mental math to solve the problems. An example of the mental math we saw in our video is when we are adding the tens place together and then the ones place. Let's look at number 1. The models show 2 tens and 5 ones, so 25 plus 1 10, which is 10. Here we have 25 plus 10. I can start by adding the tens place. 2 plus 1 is 3. Then 5 plus 0 is equal to 5. 25 plus 10 is equal to 35. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 shows 10, 11, 12 plus 10. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. 2 plus 0 is also equal to 2. So 12 plus 10 is equal to 22. We can use our mental math by first adding the tens place together, then the ones place. Let's look at your independent practice to see how they would like for you to use mental math to solve. For your independent practice on page 407, our directions tell us to use mental math to solve each equation. For numbers 3 through 11, you must use mental math to solve the equation that's given to you. Remember that one of the strategies we learned when solving with mental math is to first add the tens and then add the ones. So on this page, just like we did in our guided practice and as we saw in our animated video, you will solve for problems 3 through 11. Now is a good time to pause the video so that you can work on these problems. When you press play, we'll begin talking about number 12. For number 12, at the bottom of the page, it says Winnie used place value blocks to show 29 plus 10. She said the answer is 30. Is Winnie correct? Explain how you know. Winnie saw the value on this first block and said it's worth 29, and said the value on the second block was 10. When she added it together, she got 30. Write below yes or no if Winnie is correct. If she's not, explain how you know. If you think she is correct, show your work to prove it. Remember that you will need to pause the video as you are working through the video. We're now going to begin looking at our last page, 408. For our last page in our math lesson today, we are working on page 408. This is our problem-solving page. Our directions tell us to use mental math to solve the problems below. Number 13 says reasoning. Sam makes $15 mowing lawns one day. He makes $10 the next day. How many dollars did Sam make in all? If Sam makes $15 one day and $10 the next day, write the total number for how many he made in all. Number 14 says reasoning. Tess solves 22 math problems. Then she solves 10 more math problems. How many math problems did Tess solve in all? Our helper here says think about the numbers in the tens digit and the ones digit. If Tess solves 22 math problems, then 10 more, how many math problems did Tess solve in all? Write your answer in the blank for number 14. Number 15 says higher order thinking. Roger collects 75 cans. Ella collects some cans. Roger and Ella have 85 cans together. How many cans did Ella collect? Let's look back at our problem. If Roger collected 75, Ella collected some, and they both collected 85 cans together, how many did Ella collect? To get from 75 to 85, how many more were collected? Write your answer in the blank for number 15. For our last problem, problem 16, it says assessment practice. Match each pair of addends with their sum. On the left side, we have the sums, and on the right side, we have the addends. You will need to look at each pair of addends, find your answer, and then draw a line to the number here. For example, if I start on this side with 33 plus 10, I know 3 plus 1 is 4, and 3 plus 0 is 3. 33 plus 10 gives me 43. I find the sum of 43, and I'll draw my line to the pair of addends that matches the sum. Now you will have to solve the rest of the pairs and match them to their sum. Only one sum can be matched to a problem one time. When you are finished, you should have 5 lines that are being connected. Once you have completed filling in all of your answer choices, you will be all done with your math lesson for today. As usual, we will be checking our answers during our math intervention time. If you have any questions before then, please be sure to let me know, and I will be seeing you soon.